All right, so let's start with our 2x2 and our toolbox that we use for 2x2. You can see at the bottom, we have a couple of different man checks into the boundary. We have a man will, a man rover, we have a 2 read, we have a 2 cloud, we have a trap. So I want to show you some clips of that. All right, so here's a clip versus a 2x2. And you can see into the boundary, this is kind of the point I was wanting to make. It's a lot more compressed into the boundary. If you look at the 2x2 here, a lot more compressed versus what we have to the field. So it makes sense, particularly in high school with these hashes, that you might have different boundary checks than you would to the field because of the space difference. Now for us, as you look at this 4-2-5, this is our nickel, this will be our Mike, and this will be our Will. And then, of course, we call this our rover. It's simply the boundary safety and the field safety here. All right, so here's a look at, and if I can get this thing to play here, it might be a little bit choppy because that's just kind of how it is here. And you can see from the boundary here that we're playing, we're looking into the backfield for more of a what we call a 2 read concept here, but we'll actually end up staying on top of this route because the will linebacker actually expands and the quarterback looks away. So if you look at this here, as he's reading the out by number 2, the quarterback is away, so he stays on top, and then we get a match right here by the will, and the ball's going in this direction, so it's not anything to the boundary here. Let me go to get you another look at another concept here. So here is looking at, so the last one was a 2x2 set. Here we have a dual formation or pro formation with a tight end flanker at the top. And then we get a really wide split here to the field, or what we're considering the field. I know the ball's a little bit off the hash here, and we're going to get a running back flare. And so what these 3 guys will do with our coverage checks is they'll make a check based on the alignment of number 2. And so in this case, where is most of the grass? Most of the grass is between 1 and 2. So he will check to an alignment using, and the field safety will make the call, check to an alignment where he's taking away the grass outside of 2 versus being head up or inside of 2. And so we end up, in this case, playing more of a field robber concept. I'll see if I can let this thing play for you. Sorry about that. Let me roll this thing. All right, so field robber concept. Field safety is going to have the vertical of 2. The nickel is going to have the wide flat and the trail of the wheel of 2. And the corner is going to be playing the deep half, and he'll be, of course, he's the robber, so he'll be robbing the in cut of number 1. So as you see here, the nickel is able to stay in this curl area long enough and then keep the leverage on number 2 here. This is the guy that would take the in cut of 1, and then the corner would be over top of 2. We end up getting an interception on this one. I'll go to the end zone view here, and you can kind of see how this plays out. There it is. There's the trail technique. Here, we should have a deep half, which is this corner. And he's able to play on that in that field robber concept. All right, here's another what we call dual set here. This one is actually going to show up a poor distribution here. Our will is supposed to be the hook curl player, and the Mike is supposed to relate to 3. So see if I can get this thing to play for you. think I'm going to have to move it with my. All right, here we go. All right, so you can see the distribution is not correct. Into the boundary, or what we're calling to the 2 receiver side, they're going to do a man check because we're bringing a 5th rusher. So the rover is going to man check onto the tight end. We got man up here. So that's going to allow the will linebacker to work to the strong side. She does here. Will linebacker work to the strong side, which should be able to push the Mike back out. But the Mike, unfortunately, doesn't widen out, and we leave this little space open. And we still have a player behind him playing the deep ball, but you can see the poor distribution here, that we don't get expansion out of the Mike. And there's the opening there. Let me get you an end zone view of that. All right, you can see to the boundary, or to the 2 receiver side, we're bringing a 5th rusher. So we're locked on man here, which allows the will linebacker now to push and allows the Mike to work out. And so we should be able to match all 3 of these receivers with a deep player over top. But because the Mike doesn't push out to the new number 3, or the new number 2 in this case, we end up with poor distribution, and that's why this the new number 2 is open on this curl. But we really should have had this guy out here wider. All right, here's a look at a split back. So what we have here on this check, and so the checks can be generically based on the surface, or they can be game planned, of course. So once you teach the toolbox of these are our boundary checks, we give the defense a lot of different looks to see what they're most comfortable in checking. So in this case, the rover here is checking to a man concept. So he's actually locking in man to the back. And because in this 2-back set, I guess we probably had a higher probability of a run. So now the will can be very aggressive on his run fit, which you're going to see here. The will is going to be aggressive on this run fit, which is allowed because the rover here, our boundary safety, is locked into the back. So see if you can see how this get to this here. All right, so you can see it is a play action off of a split zone look, and you can see the will linebacker here. This will linebacker is all up into the play, and of course this receiver is not out yet, so he comes out late, and so the will linebacker is not in a great position. He's actually out leveraged, but because there was a check with the rover now picking up the new number 2, he's able to match that guy to the flat on the arrow route and make that play. And so that would be a coverage check based on surface and or alignment. So allowing the will linebacker to fit aggressively on a run fit, and then the rover making him right by picking up the arrow route that ends up coming outside here. As you can see how that plays out right here. Here's another look at it from the end zone.